It's tax season 2026, folks, and you know what? We're not talking about getting your big old fat tax return in this video. We're talking about the bill of lading process. What is a BOL? Well, it's pretty simple. If you've ever bought anything out of state, sometimes, if you're lucky, you'll hear about the bill of lading process. And the person or people or company that you're buying stuff from should do their job and bring out a piece of paperwork for you to fill out, and you will get that tax taken off your invoice order. Now, I'm going to tell you this real quick. Before you go, if you buy something out of state and you live in a nomad state, what's a nomad state? A nomad state is one of the 5 states: New Hampshire, Oregon, Montana, Alaska, and Delaware. There are 5 of them here in the United States, and as of right now, they are tax exempt. You do not pay sales tax on most things. So, when you buy something and you get the invoice and you pay the invoice, do not pay the sales tax listed out on that invoice. Less it on the actual invoice and pay what you owe. Say the total amount, maybe the buyer's fee, internet fee, whatever it is, shipping and handling, all the nonsense, but do not pay. Whatever it may be, a personal check, cashier's check, money order, wire transfer, or cash. And you know what? Usually when you do that and they actually get the transaction and get the money, they'll be quick to call you up and say, hey, you didn't pay all your invoice. And I'll be like, well, yeah, because we're up here in Oregon and we do not pay sales tax. Well, you know, your driver's going to have to provide a copy of bill of lading. Well, that's fine. We got no problem with that. We don't supply bill of lading forms. I've heard it all. You know what? I've been on the phone with these people, and I've spent literally in the last 10 years having these conversations with these people for my personal self and for work, buying stuff out of state. We do it all the time. And these people, and you know, it's all because they're ill-informed. Go figure, they sell stuff all day long and they don't know the bill of lading process. It is a real thing. I see it all the time. And they want to argue with you. And I get the feeling that like they want to keep the tax money. But you know what? Why would they even do that? Because they don't even get to keep the tax money. It goes to the state. So there's no sense arguing on the phone. They don't get to keep it anyway, but you get to keep it. And you know what? So many people in the state of Oregon get took every year. I see it all the time with the locals, whether it's agriculture related or it's just buying personal stuff out of state. It's ridiculous. So when you buy something out of state and you live in a nomad state, we're up here in Oregon, you have to do a bill of lading form. Now, there's 3 sheets here. 1 sheet's for you to keep, 1 sheet's for the carrier, which is the truck driver, and the other one is for the people or company that you bought this item from, wherever it may be. I also want to get into the actual agricultural farm exemption paperwork, which is, I'm going to say that for last. I call it bringing out the big guns. Sometimes these states, they don't have it and they don't want to listen to it. So you give them an agricultural release form or an exemption form, and they're like, can't argue with that. Here you go. So, bill of lading form, we already talked about not giving them the actual tax money. Keep that, because if you do make the mistake of writing the check out or paying them however you do it, they're going to probably keep that and you might not get it back. And if you do get it back, you will get it back in a sum of a check, and it will probably take months. It's just a big pain in the butt. It's more work for you and it's more work for them. So that's why we got to get the bill of lading process done correctly the first time. So there is a couple of stipulations. We bought something. We're up here in Oregon. Let's say we bought something in Louisiana. It doesn't have to necessarily be agricultural or farm related whatsoever. It can be palletized goods in a box, on a pallet, in a truck, and be shipped here. It has to be hauled by a third party. Now, third party, what could that be? That could be your neighbor with a trailer, you know, whatever it may be. As long as you got a DOT number, motor carrier number, you qualify as a third party. Now, you gotta love the 80s and 90s, folks. Before the internet was around, what people were doing was buying stuff out of state, and they still do it to today. They were buying stuff out of state and they were using their own trucking company. Say I owned 5 trucks and I send one of my drivers down to Louisiana to pick up the stuff that we bought. Well, when my driver got down there, the company that we purchased that stuff from didn't think to ask John Smith, hey, who owns that trucking company? Oh, it's owned by me, the guy that bought that. So you're basically sending your own truck down there as a third-party carrier. People still do that all the time. Now, technically, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to have a third party, unrelated to you, so it would be completely unrelated to the purchaser, and that would be transported back to your state by the same guy, which is completely unrelated to your family, your trucking company, any holdings or interest you have in that trucking company. So, this is where a lot of people go wrong with this. A lot of times, what happens when you buy something, you'll get a call from the company down there, and they will say, you owe this and you owe that, and they just pay them the money, and nobody says anything, because you think, well, I can only buy stuff in Oregon and get that sales tax knocked off because there is no sales tax. That's not true. These people that you're buying this stuff from, believe me, they do not go out of their way to keep money in your pocket. I see it all the time. It's just a big thing. And like I said earlier in the video, it's because they're ill-informed and they don't know what they're doing. It's easier for them just to get the tax money and give it back to their state, and just, you know, because that's what they're used to doing. So get good with a bill of lading process. Know what you're doing. Make sure you have one of these. If your driver's got one, send them the link on the internet so you can print one out real quick. But I'm telling you, it is worth your time to do this process and keep that money.